Lewis Hamilton may be preparing to send Ferrari's biggest message of the season, at the one circuit where pressure becomes personal. Monza is not just another race. It is Ferrari's home battlefield, where straight-line speed, braking confidence, and one perfect qualifying lap can decide everything before Sunday even begins. But the alleged master plan comes with a serious problem. The available source does not reveal any confirmed Monza strategy, any direct warning from Hamilton, or any technical data proving Ferrari has discovered a decisive advantage. So either the most important details are still hidden, or one explosive headline has moved far ahead of the evidence. And if Ferrari really has found a way to unlock Hamilton's qualifying performance at Monza, Mercedes may face a threat built around the driver who knows them better than almost anyone. Because the real warning would not come from Hamilton's words. It would come from what happens when he reaches the first braking zone in a Ferrari designed to attack. Subscribe to the channel. To understand why this supposed warning matters, you have to separate what is dramatic from what is actually confirmed. The available source does not contain a direct quote from Lewis Hamilton. It does not reveal a Ferrari master plan for Monza. It does not describe a new aerodynamic package, a qualifying procedure, an engine setting, or a race strategy. And it does not show that Hamilton has issued any warning to Mercedes, McLaren, Red Bull, or the rest of the grid. That means the most explosive part of the story remains unverified. But the reason the idea feels so powerful is easy to understand. Monza places Ferrari under a kind of pressure that no ordinary race can create. Every decision becomes louder. Every mistake feels heavier. Every strong lap creates immediate belief. And every weakness becomes impossible to hide. This is Ferrari's home race. The grandstands are filled with supporters who do not simply want progress. They expect a moment, a result that feels different, a performance that proves Ferrari can still control the biggest stage in front of its own crowd. For Hamilton, that pressure would be even more intense. He would not arrive as an ordinary Ferrari driver. He would arrive carrying years of history with Mercedes, years of championship battles, and years of experience at the front of Formula One. That history makes every possible confrontation feel personal. But personal does not mean proven. The source does not establish that Hamilton has threatened his former team. It does not show that he has promised victory. It does not confirm that Ferrari has discovered a hidden advantage. So the real question is not what Hamilton supposedly said. It is what Ferrari would need to do for his performance to become the warning. And that begins with the car. Monza demands efficiency. The car must travel quickly through the air. It must remain stable when the driver brakes from very high speed. It must respond sharply through the chicanes. And it must accelerate cleanly without overwhelming the rear tires. That combination is difficult because the solutions can fight against one another. A smaller rear wing can reduce drag. Less drag can improve straight-line speed. But less rear wing can also reduce stability. The car may become nervous under braking. The driver may lose confidence when changing direction. And the tires may struggle to produce the grip needed at the exact moment the driver wants to accelerate. That is the first hidden conflict inside any Monza plan. Ferrari would not simply need a fast car. It would need a car that remains trustworthy while carrying less aerodynamic support. Think of riding a bicycle downhill with a strong wind behind you. The speed comes easily, but the faster you move, the more important stability becomes. A small movement feels larger. A small mistake becomes harder to correct. Monza creates the same kind of pressure. The car can gain speed quickly, but the driver must still control that speed when the braking zone arrives. This is where Hamilton's experience could become valuable. He knows what a car needs to feel like under the heaviest braking demands. He knows the difference between a machine that is fast on paper and one that allows the driver to attack. He knows how quickly confidence can disappear when the rear begins moving unpredictably. And he knows that one small hesitation can ruin an entire qualifying lap. That experience could help Ferrari identify the correct compromise. Not the lowest possible drag. Not the highest possible top speed. The fastest complete lap. That distinction matters. A car can look spectacular in the speed trap and still lose time through the corners. It can be the fastest machine on the straight and still start behind a rival with better braking stability. The stopwatch does not reward one impressive number. It rewards the total. And this is where the supposed master plan would need to become more than a headline. Ferrari would need to understand exactly where Hamilton can gain time. Is the opportunity at the end of the straight? Is it during the braking phase? Is it through the first direction change? Is it when the car accelerates out of the chicane? Each answer demands a different setup, and every setup creates a cost somewhere else. If Ferrari reduces drag aggressively, Hamilton may gain speed but lose confidence. If Ferrari adds stability, the car may become easier to control but slower in a straight line. If the team focuses on qualifying, it may create problems during the race. If it protects the tires for Sunday, it may sacrifice the grid position needed to control the opening laps. That is why a real Monza plan would have to be built around priorities. Ferrari cannot maximize everything. No team can. The real skill is deciding which compromise hurts least. And that decision could become the hidden weapon. Not one illegal device. Not one secret button. Not one dramatic technical trick. A better understanding of what the car needs and what Hamilton needs at the exact circuit where every weakness becomes visible. But here is the problem. The source does not give us any of those details. It does not say Ferrari has chosen a particular wing level. It does not describe a tire strategy. It does not explain Hamilton's setup preferences. It does not confirm a qualifying mode. It does not include any evidence that the team has found a decisive solution. So, every technical possibility must remain exactly that. A possibility? Still, the strategic tension is real. Mercedes would not ignore Ferrari at Monza. Hamilton knows the culture of that team. He knows how it prepares for high-pressure weekends. He understands how Mercedes reacts when a rival begins showing strength. But knowing a former team is not the same as possessing its current secrets. Mercedes continues developing. Its procedures evolve. Its car changes. Its drivers provide new feedback. Hamilton's experience can help Ferrari recognize patterns. It cannot guarantee that Ferrari knows what Mercedes will do next. That makes the battle more interesting. Hamilton may understand the habits. Mercedes may understand Hamilton. Both sides carry information from the past. Neither side owns the full picture of the present. And Monza could turn that uncertainty into pressure. If Ferrari looks fast during practice, Mercedes may have to react. If Hamilton gains confidence under braking, the team may change its setup priorities. If Ferrari shows strong straight-line speed, Mercedes may reduce drag. That change could make the car less stable. One team's improvement can force another team into a compromise. That is how Formula One battles become psychological. A rival does not always need to be faster everywhere. It only needs to make the other team uncomfortable. Ferrari's greatest weapon could be forcing Mercedes to guess. How much speed has Ferrari found? How much downforce is it willing to remove? Is Hamilton's pace real? Is the team hiding performance? Will the advantage appear in qualifying or over the race distance? Every unanswered question creates pressure. And pressure leads to decisions. Some decisions are aggressive. Some are cautious. Some are wrong. That is why a strong Friday can influence Sunday before the race has even begun. A team sees one rival's speed. It changes direction. It abandons a setup it understood. It begins chasing a threat that may not be as large as it appears. Ferrari could benefit from that, but only if its own preparation is stable. A team cannot create pressure while still searching for answers inside its own garage. The engineers need clarity. The drivers need confidence. The setup direction needs to remain consistent. If Ferrari spends practice changing the car repeatedly, the supposed plan begins collapsing. Hamilton may receive a different balance every run. The tires may behave unpredictably. The team may reach qualifying without knowing which version of the car is actually fastest. That is the nightmare Ferrari must avoid. Because Monza offers very little room for confusion. The lap is short. The margins are small. A mistake in traffic can ruin preparation. A poor toe can cost speed. A badly timed run can leave the driver exposed as the track improves. The car may be competitive. The result may still disappear because the execution fails. This is where the master plan would need to include more than setup. It would need preparation, run timing, tire temperature, traffic management, energy deployment, driver confidence, communication. Every part has to arrive together. And Hamilton's warning, if one truly exists, would only matter if Ferrari can execute all of it under pressure. Words do not create lap time. Reputation does not create grip. History does not create braking stability. The car has to deliver. The team has to respond. The driver has to trust the machine enough to attack the first braking zone without hesitation. That is when a message becomes real, not when it appears in a headline, when the stopwatch confirms it. And there is another reason Monza could become emotionally important for Hamilton. A strong performance would not only help Ferrari, it would reshape the way people interpret his move. Every difficult weekend creates doubt. Every strong weekend creates belief. At Ferrari's home race, that effect becomes larger. Front row start would feel bigger. A victory would feel historic. Even a clear performance advantage over Mercedes could become a symbolic moment. The driver who spent years building success with one team would be using everything he learned to challenge it from the other side. That is why the story feels so powerful. But symbolism can become dangerous when it gets ahead of evidence. The source does not confirm the warning. It does not confirm the plan. It does not confirm the advantage. So the truth will not be found in dramatic language. It will be found in the details Ferrari cannot hide once the weekend begins. How stable is the car under braking? How quickly do the tires reach the correct temperature? How much speed does Ferrari carry at the end of the straight? Can Hamilton attack the curbs without losing control? Does the car remain competitive during longer runs? And most importantly, can Ferrari repeat the performance when the pressure reaches its highest point? One fast practice lap proves very little. One strong qualifying sector proves potential. A complete weekend proves preparation. That is the standard Ferrari would need to meet. And that is why the supposed Monza Masterplan remains so intriguing. Not because we know what it is. The source does not tell us. But because Monza will expose whether Ferrari has something more valuable than a secret. A car Hamilton can trust, a team that understands its priorities, and a plan strong enough to make Mercedes react before the real fight even begins. And this is where Ferrari's supposed Monza plan would face its most brutal test. Because a strategy can look perfect before the weekend begins. The simulations can be strong. The setup direction can make sense. The engineers can believe they understand the balance. But Monza has a way of exposing every weakness that still exists. One unstable braking zone. One poorly prepared tire. One mistimed qualifying run. And the entire plan can begin falling apart. That is why execution matters more than the idea itself. Ferrari may arrive with a clear objective: reduce drag, protect braking stability, give Hamilton confidence, build the weekend around qualifying. But each objective affects the next. Remove too much downforce and the car becomes nervous. Add too much stability and straight-line speed suffers. Protect the tires too carefully and they may not be ready for the flying lap. Push them too hard and the grip may disappear before the final corners. This is the narrow window Ferrari would need to control. And that window becomes even smaller when pressure enters the garage. At Monza, the team does not work in silence. Every lap is watched. Every radio message is analyzed. Every small mistake becomes a national story. That pressure can influence decisions. Engineers may become too conservative. Drivers may begin forcing the lap. The team may react too quickly to one poor run. And suddenly, the plan is no longer guiding the weekend. The emotion is. That is the first real danger for Hamilton. He may understand what the car needs. He may know where the lap can be won. But he still has to trust Ferrari's process when the pressure becomes overwhelming. That trust matters because Monza qualifying is not only about speed, it is also about timing.